Military police, what's the best loophole you've ever used? I had this Sergeant Daniel Hayes who thought he was untouchable. 20-year veteran, buddies with half the command staff, treated junior enlisted like garbage. Hayes ran an illegal gambling ring out of the motor pool, poker games, sports betting, loan sharking, made thousands off desperate soldiers. Everyone knew, nobody could prove it. He was smart about it, never touched money directly, always had alibis. When internal affairs investigated, witnesses suddenly developed amnesia. The breakthrough came when Private Mason overdosed. Kid owed Hayes $3,000, couldn't pay. Hayes had been charging 30% interest, threatening Mason's family back home. Mason left a suicide note detailing everything, names, dates, amounts, but it wasn't enough for criminal charges, just hearsay from a dead soldier. That's when I discovered the loophole. Hayes had been using government vehicles for his collection runs, driving to soldiers' homes off base, making threats, collecting payments. Every military vehicle has a GPS tracker, required by regulation since 2010. Command can monitor location, speed, everything. Hayes didn't know. I pulled 6 months of GPS data, cross-referenced it with his duty schedule, found dozens of unauthorized trips, to soldiers' apartments, to off-base locations where games happened. But Hayes was clever. He'd always log the vehicles out for routine maintenance or security checks, legitimate reasons that covered his tracks. So I dug deeper, found the real loophole. Military Regulation 758 requires detailed justification for any vehicle use exceeding 50 miles from base. Hayes never filed the paperwork. Each unauthorized trip was a separate violation. Misuse of government property, falsifying official documents, violation of movement orders. I had him on 47 separate charges, each one carrying potential jail time and forfeiture of retirement benefits. Presented the evidence to the Judge Advocate General. Open and shut case. Hayes was looking at 20 years in military prison plus complete loss of pension. His lawyer tried to cut a deal. Full confession about the gambling ring in exchange for reduced charges. But I wasn't interested in deals. Hayes had destroyed too many lives. Mason was dead. 3 other soldiers had attempted suicide. Families ruined by his loan shark operation. The court-martial was brutal. GPS evidence was irrefutable. Hayes' own logbooks proved he'd lied about vehicle usage. Even his command friends couldn't save him. 15 years in military prison, dishonorable discharge, forfeiture of all pay and benefits, 20 years of service down the drain. But the real victory came after sentencing. Hayes' gambling network collapsed overnight. Soldiers started coming forward with stories. Sexual harassment, assault, theft. Turned out the gambling was just the beginning. Hayes had been running a criminal empire, using his rank and connections to prey on junior enlisted. The investigation expanded. 3 more NCOs got arrested. 2 officers relieved of command. Entire command structure cleaned out. Hayes tried to appeal, claimed the GPS evidence was illegally obtained. Judge laughed him out of court. You signed a waiver acknowledging GPS monitoring when you received your vehicle license. The beauty of the loophole? It was completely legal. Hayes had violated clear regulations using government equipment. Everything documented by his own actions. Mason's family sued the army for negligence. They won. Used the settlement money to start a foundation helping soldiers with gambling addiction. Hayes sits in prison now. Eligible for parole in 2031. Lost his wife, his house, his reputation. All because he thought he was too smart to get caught. The irony? If he just stayed on base, used his own car, kept the gambling small, he might have gotten away with it forever. Instead, his arrogance led him to use government resources. Created a paper trail that destroyed him completely. That's the thing about loopholes. They work both ways. Sometimes they protect the guilty. Sometimes they nail them to the wall. In Hayes' case, 20 years of corruption ended because he was too lazy to drive his own car. Justice served by GPS coordinates and mileage logs.